All right, well, good Saturday afternoon. Owen Fritzen here with you. It is June 6th. We're waiting for some synchronization to come up across the platform, so we're going to give it just a moment here. But we have some severe weather moving across Ohio, mostly winds being the issue right now. A little bit of some problematic storms up on the lake that's causing some potential water spouts that we're seeing. Out over the lakes, heading towards the islands there in north central Ohio. So we're watching that. Also, some storms approaching the Dayton metro area as well, just crossing into Indiana. So, if you're just joining us here, we're just going to give you a quick update. Not staying live for too long, but today's one of those days that, hey, we do have a severe risk in place. We talked about it a little bit over the course of the last couple of days throughout the platforms. Something that we're not totally overly exaggerating today. We had some storms roll through earlier this morning and suck some of the energy out of the atmosphere, but it has rebuilt, and we're starting to see some storms fire off, especially south of 70, right along 70, I should say. We're seeing dew points really start to get really sticky around there. So definitely storms popping off along I-70 through Columbus back to Dayton and heading towards the mid-Ohio Valley. Storms starting again to pop off here a little bit across north-central Ohio and even into portions of northwest Ohio there, as you can see, north of Fort Wayne. So kind of looking here right now, we turned on the categorical outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. This is the outlook for today. Any area that's in the yellow color, we have a slight risk for severe storms today. Now, we don't want to overly exaggerate that because the marginal risk in the green areas, the darker green areas, is the marginal risk area, and then general thunderstorm risk being below that. So we're at a level 2 of 5 if you think of it on that scale from the Storm Prediction Center. So level 2 of 5 for storms and severe weather, I should say, here for today. Now, so without this is kind of trending right along schedule. We expected those storms to go through earlier. Had a few severe thunderstorm warnings with those ones that came through this morning. We have been getting some reports coming out of maybe a fatality due to lightning in Senecaville, Ohio. That is, I believe, in Guernsey County. So we're waiting official confirmation from that. So it's a very important reminder that if you hear thunder, and when thunder roars, go indoors. We hate to see that kind of news come across. So it's very, very important. You got to understand you are not going to be able to hear the thunder and then be able to seek shelter, if you will. It's already going to be too late if you're getting hit by a lightning strike. So we hate to see that kind of news. Again, we're not 100% clear on those full details yet. That's unofficial reports, but fairly credible coming through there for today. So let's talk about what's going on right now. I'm going to turn off the radar itself for just a second here. That way we can kind of look here at the first thing. We'll look at the severe watches that are in effect across Ohio. So you can see the one here for basically eastern Ohio, east central Ohio. This is a severe thunderstorm watch 279 that goes until 10 p.m. tonight, expecting 65-mile-an-hour wind gusts and tops of 50,000 feet. Not sure we're going to get there, but this is kind of what we're expecting. This was issued just a little bit ago, and the one prior to that goes until 6 o'clock here for basically portions of the mid-Ohio Valley. Those breakdowns are available on our Facebook page, so you can see those if you want to see if you're until 10 o'clock or until 6 o'clock. More likely, though, these storms continue to fire. I would say this severe thunderstorm watch is going to be reissued, is kind of my guess right now. So that's kind of what we're seeing across kind of this plethora of long I-70. We're seeing severe thunderstorm watches here, and that one only goes for another 9 minutes. I think they'll reissue that one. I'm not quite sure on that. They are talking about right now another severe thunderstorm watch for basically portions of central Ohio and north central Ohio over towards Cleveland, down to Canton, down to Wheeling. So they are kind of looking at another severe thunderstorm watch possibility. It says that they're going to issue that at an 80% margin. So that's kind of what they're saying. Again, this one we posted onto our Facebook page and social media pages as well. You can see that breakdown of what they're talking about for severe weather. Now, the good thing about this is, yeah, we are seeing some stronger storms out of this one. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning down here. That is something for Franklin and Licking counties, and we're going to zoom into that one here in just a minute. That's the first one we're going to look at, and let's go ahead and turn the radar back on, and we go ahead and flip this back on for just a second. We do have radar outages as well, so that's kind of a big problem for portions here in Wilmington. The radar is down. Even the terminals are down. So we're going to have to rely on radar out of Cleveland right now. So unfortunately, we're going to have to rely on something a little bit further away, but hey, we'll make it work. So first thing, I'm going to zoom in. I'm just outside of Columbus here, just outside the belt. You can see me here. I'm going to click on this one. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, and they say that the hail threat here is observed, and this is 1-inch hail. So wouldn't be surprised. You see those deep, dark purples. I'll zoom in a little bit further, just to the northwest of Newark, just by Johnstown. They're saying that is indicated and observed. So 1-inch hail definitely meets the criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning. And then they're saying 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with this one as well. So we are watching that one. And then also we go off here towards Zanesville. I'm going to kind of go round robin here a little bit. This one also hail threat, radar indicated of 1 inch. You see these deep, deep, deep purple returns. Yeah, hail is coming for you, Zanesville. So if you are not inside, you need to get inside and stay indoors until this storm is passed. That is almost maxed out as far as the hail count and hail threat goes for Zanesville. And we're looking, again, further away from the radar than we normally would like. And then we have some general thunderstorm warnings down here, and we'll kind of read those here real quick. So we'll start off with that first one again. This one has some general severe thunderstorm, hail risk, and that is observed. I'm sorry. This one is for northeastern Franklin and southeastern Delaware and northwestern Licking counties, the one I have on your screen. This goes, which one does this go to? 6 o'clock. So we got about 5 minutes on this one. At this point, it looks like they'll probably reissue one downstream of this, so we'll have to wait and see what happens here on this one. They do have this observed again, so hail threat is observed on that one. The latest update actually just weakened it a little bit, but you still see some deep, dark purples in there. Next here for Zanesville, so we'll kind of look at this severe thunderstorm warning right here. Includes Zanesville. If you're in Zanesville, time's up. Need to get in your tornado-safe shelter. Again, we are seeing some pretty decent hail returns come out of this one. This severe thunderstorm warning is for southwestern Guernsey County, central Muskegon County, and west central Noble County, and that goes again here until 6:30. So make sure, again, Zanesville, New Concord, South Zanesville, Philo, Pleasant Grove, Cumberland, Norwich, Bridgeville, all those towns, Blue Rock State Park if you're in that area, Dillon State Park, Drake, you need to be inside a well-built structure. Stay away from windows. It is capable of producing damaging winds and hail. And then finally, we go down here. We kind of got two severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll start with the one here towards the right. I'll kind of put it right next to you there. This one, they're getting out ahead of it. This one is for central Perry County. This one goes until 6:15. This storm is coming out of Lancaster, moving at about 25 miles an hour. And then we'll go over here to this one to the left, which is also producing some hail there near Lancaster. So this is for Fairfield County. This one goes until 6 o'clock for Fairfield County. Got another 4 minutes on that one. We'll have to see if they reissue that one because it still doesn't look like it exited the polygon at this point. So central Ohio right now by Columbus, the big thing is you are getting that hail threat right now. We have not seen at this point a great tornado threat. Now, we have seen some rotation up on Lake Erie, which we'll talk about in just a minute. That has produced the potential, I should say, for waterspouts. Nothing confirmed that we have seen at this point. You also are seeing here on the screen bound Columbus, we do have amateur radio report that came in hail. They're saying that was 0.7 inches, and then another one saying 1.8 inches. That was from Public. And then there's some wind reports here, tree branches down there near Baltimore. Coming back to Urbana, as I'm working my way back towards the Dayton area, they are saying that there was a half-inch hail reported there earlier with that storm cell as well. Now, I'm making my way back here towards Dayton for portions of Preble, Darke, and Montgomery counties here. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for you as well. This one goes until 6 o'clock, so we have a few more minutes on this one. I'm going to flip over radar sites because, again, the Wilmington radar at this point is down. So I'm going to flip over here to the Indianapolis radar site. and give us a little bit of a view. This looks like more to me of a wind threat coming through here with this one. So if you're in the wave of this thing, and again, we're looking further away than we normally would, so we have to take that into account. Towards the Dayton metro area right now, probably going to see a severe thunderstorm warning for that one as well. Now, if I back out here and I'm just kind of concentrating on central Ohio, I'll get to northern Ohio in just a moment. As we're looking here across central Ohio, we're starting to see these storms fire up. Wouldn't be surprised if any one of these would get a severe thunderstorm warning on this particular cell. And also we're watching here Logan County and Champaign County. You're seeing this one up here just outside of Piqua here, just in the Urbana area. We are watching this one closely as well. And I'm going to venture to say the next one up, you've seen on your screen just as I was moving the cursor around, you see here in Champaign County really deep dark purples that just came out. Probably indicative of some pretty good hail, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see some severe thunderstorm warnings pop for some of those cells as it makes its way through. Now, I'm going to take just a quick second, move back up towards Cleveland. I'll talk about the tornado risk in a few minutes, but I'm going to make our way back here for Erie County. We do have some storms over the lake. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this one. So for portions of Erie County, you do have some weather coming in off the lake, and I'll put this into motion for you here. As it starts to sync up, you'll see it start to move here just a second. Give it just a moment to sync up. Right over Sandusky right now. You can see that some light hail with this as well, so we have to be careful with that. Ohio Bike Week is going on right over Sandusky, or in Sandusky right now. So people in Ohio Bike Week definitely need to be inside a storm safe shelter at this point. Now, that rotation, I'll stop it back here. Out over the lake, out over some of the islands. This was some rotation that we were seeing, and that's what's indicative. The National Weather Service did put out a marine statement for that area's marine warning, saying that water spouts were possible. So that's what we were seeing there as this comes ashore. Now, it looks like it's definitely calmed down as far as rotation-wise. It's a mixed rotation right now as it approaches here in Sandusky, but nevertheless, there is some still strong embedded winds coming off over the lake right now, up to 60 miles an hour or so, so there is a severe thunderstorm warning along this line moving through Erie County all the way over towards Huron and Vermilion. There must be a new warning very close because I'm in Sandusky County and my weather radio is going off, so there must be a new warning coming out here right now for one of the neighboring counties. Let's go ahead and take a look here. This is going to be it's going to be a megagon. This is going to be huge. Yeah, there's so many counties on here. You're going to see it populate here in just a minute. There's like, I don't even know, 20 counties on this warning. So Cleveland getting excited here. Ashland, Athens, Belmont. Oh, excuse me. This is a watch. That's why. Whew. I was like, holy moly, that's a megagon. No, the new severe thunderstorm watch. I'm sorry. I couldn't read. I was going to say, wow, that's a huge severe thunderstorm warning. All right. So there's going to be a new severe thunderstorm watch that comes out here. I'll put that on the screen here, see if it populated already. It has not, so give it just a second. It'll populate through. But I'll go ahead and read the counties to you that are included in this. So there is a new severe thunderstorm watch for Ashland County, Athens County, Belmont County, Carroll County, Columbiana County, Coshocton County, Crawford County, Erie County, Guernsey County, Hancock County, Harrison County, Holmes County, Huron County, Jefferson County, Knox County, Lorain County, Marion County, Medina County, Meigs County, Monroe County, Morgan County, Morgan and Morrow County, Muskegon County, Noble County, Perry County, Richland County, Sandusky County, Seneca County, Stark County, Tuscarawas County, Vinton County, Washington County, Wayne County, Wood County, and Wyandotte County until 11 o'clock tonight. So, again, severe thunderstorm watch. They did not go with a tornado watch, so that's telling you kind of what the Storm Prediction Center is thinking right now. They are not in the position of issuing a tornado watch, so that means that they're not thinking too many of these storms are going to be tornadic. Now, I'll see if that watch populated yet. It takes a few minutes from the issuance from the Storm Prediction Center, because you got to remember these aren't issued locally. Any severe thunderstorm watch product or tornado watch product is issued out of Norman, Oklahoma, so it takes a few minutes for us to get it synced up on our screens here and throughout the terminals. So couple of quick things here. We'll look here at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for tornado outlook today, and I'll turn that on right now. A very weak risk, 2% risk here for basically east central Ohio. I don't think we see too much of that here. We did have a little bit of rotation, but I think the atmosphere was really worked over this morning, especially in the portions of this area, that I don't think we see a lot of tornado risk today. Again, 1 or 2 storms could produce an isolated tornado. We never can say that there's not a chance of a tornado, but I don't think it's the greatest threat. We're seeing a big threat today here of hail. There's the hail risk. You can see here 15% hail risk, which is pretty considerable here from the Storm Prediction Center. And then outside of that, I'll zoom out just a little bit further. You can see that smaller risk here from the Storm Prediction Center of a 5% hail risk. So this is the hail risk that we're looking at being a greater threat. And then we'll finally look here at winds. And there's the wind threat. Again, as it cranks off or moves off towards Pennsylvania, cranks up, they're seeing maybe some storms there, especially for portions of the Mid-Ohio Valley there in east, southeast, central Ohio. They could get a little bit stronger. But the rest of this area, again, under a fairly decent, strong risk of severe winds. 30% in this Pittsburgh area, 15% for a majority of the rest of Ohio. Yeah, humidity is really hot right now. Let's just say it that way. Not hot, very sticky. And I'm going to turn off the storm reports real quick. But very, very sticky out there across the areas. Still waiting for that watch to come in. So let's see here. Let me turn on some meso data here. Let's see if I can turn on. Yeah, that's going to confuse you. Let me look at some. Let me look at some other data here. I don't want to turn that on. That's really going to confuse you all. Yeah, let's see. Let's turn on some METAR observations. There we go. So here we go. This is current air temperatures outside. Across the lake, 70 degrees here. And across southern Ohio, even getting worked over by some of these storms, still hovering right around 80 degrees. And there you have it. Let's look at dew points. A lot of you seeing that nice stickiness there. Dew points well into the 60s, into the 70s in some spots. So that is really rough in some areas. So gets that stickiness and that feeling that we have. So it's kind of sticky. We don't like that. So at 70, when we look at 70, it contains a very high amount of water vapor in the atmosphere, and it's considered tropical at 70. All right, we don't usually hear that, but very muggy, very sticky. 70. Usually this is Florida weather when we see dew points in the 70s, I should say. So very, very sticky, and yeah, just kind of nasty out. So sticky and muggy is about 60 to 65. Anything over 65 is considered to be uncomfortable. We like to be pleasant between 50 and 60 or 50 to 59. Usually likes to be very pleasant. But across Ohio, very muggy, very sticky today. And we do have that vapor in the atmosphere to definitely get some storms going here for today. So fully saturated, yeah, gotta love it. To a point there. All right. So I'm just kind of taking a look at some things here behind the scenes, looking across some of the social media pages, seeing if there's anything out there. The newest watch is on our screen, and hopefully it's going to fill in here on my terminal here. There it goes. Finally filled in on the terminal, and did include some of those other ones that expired at 6 o'clock. This is the latest and greatest here that filled in. Let's go ahead and turn off the surface observations here. Turn that back to temperature, turn that off, and let's go ahead and zoom in here so you can kind of see here. Let's see if I can draw this quick. So the newest watch is here, down to here, over here, down here, over here. Actually, sorry, Delaware's out of this one. Not that it really matters, but all right, we'll just call it general area. This is the newest watch that was issued here, and this one goes until 11 o'clock tonight. So That's what we're seeing here, and I'll zoom out. I apologize. Zoom out a little bit for you. Actually, let me just clear that and zoom out so you can see it. Man, well, that's too far. I don't think I want to go to outer space, see all the satellites. That's just a little too far. So let's go ahead and turn that off. Let's go ahead and zoom back into Ohio. There we go. Let's turn off. There we go. All right. Sorry about that, man. I'm just struggling with my telestration tool. It never turns off when I say turn off and all that fun stuff. All right. Here we go. Let's draw it again. For all intensive purposes, there you go. So those are the Mid-Ohio Valley. Again, until 11 o'clock tonight. The other one doesn't really matter. Let's see here. The other one goes until 10 o'clock. So all intensive purposes, 10 or 11 o'clock. If you're over here in the eastern portion of this newest watch, this one goes until 11 o'clock tonight. Now, I will say it's very interesting. They did not include Lucas County. They did not include Ottawa County up here on the lake. So that tells you a couple things that probably after this line goes by across northern Ohio, it's over. And I would kind of expect the same thing because we are the atmosphere has been worked over pretty good. Can't rule out an isolated shower or two, but once this line kind of goes through, that's kind of what we're looking at here for today. Let's go ahead and back this out here. I want to show you one more thing. I'll turn off the watch here. I'll turn on the frontal boundary. This is that frontal boundary shifting towards the south here. You kind of see it, and it's a little bit in the past right now. So moving just down towards the lake, and once this kind of pushes through, we're going to see pretty much the severe threat start to end for tonight. Now, next week is going to be freaking hot. Okay, so be prepared for that. Temperatures are going to get up there in the 90s next week. Heat indexes are going to be up there. We're probably going to see some heat warnings and some of those type of things, some types of those products come out next week because it's going to be just oppressively hot, sticky, and I'll keep it PG-13, but sticky wicky. All right. So as across your screen, you can see the thunderstorm warnings that have come in here. I'll turn off the fronts real quick, and there we go. And we'll kind of zoom back in here towards Ohio. We still have that lone severe thunderstorm warning up here in north central Ohio for Erie County. It goes until 6:30, another 20 minutes or so. Kind of producing some signs of some hail. I'll zoom in here a little bit as this is coming off the lake. So people in Bike Week there up in Sandusky, 250 kind of runs right here. So the mall and everything's kind of right about here if you're familiar with Sandusky, all the shops, and then obviously Cedar Point's out on the peninsula. Out here, but then Bike Week's going on here right in downtown, so they're getting wet right now. People at Cedar Point probably wet right now, so hopefully wouldn't be surprised that the rides obviously are shut down at this point. But we're starting to see a little bit of some hail returns come across this one, following right along Route 2, coming across the Ohio Turnpike right here, coming into the area of Milan, and if it keeps going south here, drag towards Norwalk and Wakeman. Huron, you probably just got in on some of that action here. Berlin Heights, you're in there, so hey, if you're at the Angry Bull Steakhouse, I ate there last night. Awesome steakhouse if you ever get a chance to go there. They did not pay me to say that. Coming down here to the south, we do have, again, we are looking here at radar products. I'm going to see here. It looks like the radar come back up. No, it didn't. So never mind. I was hoping that the radar was coming back up in some of these areas that it went down in, and we're still seeing spotty outages there. So let me turn on Charleston. A little bit weaker product, but holy moly, look at this one. Let me see if T-Day's in operation here. Just outside of Dayton. Yeah, of course that one's having problems too. Never fails when there's a storm that happens. It's not like we need the radar. Let's go in here just outside of Columbus here. This one's definitely come in with some deep, dark hails signatures returning here. Zooming way in here, South Charleston, South Vienna. Boy, you're really getting in on some of this action right now. So some definite hail cores there. 1 inch or greater right now is definitely what's coming back here with radar. So portions of Clark County. This is moving off into Madison County here in just a moment. So, yeah, really deep, dark purple hail. And this has a severe thunderstorm warning until 7 o'clock. I think this was issued a few minutes ago at 6:07 when I was talking about some other stuff here. And 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but 1-inch hail. Wouldn't doubt it right now. That's some pretty deep, dark purple and some dark hail returns. The rest of this one, that one over by Zanesville, yeah, we were still looking at that one a little bit ago. The rest of these kind of are fading out just a little bit. You're probably seeing some small hail with that. Hail being one of the bigger threats today, and then wind kind of being the secondary threat behind the hail. Here's that one moved outside of Zanesville. I don't know how Zanesville fared with that one because it looked like it stayed mostly to the south, but definitely some deep, dark purples. You're seeing basically black on the radar. That is about as dark as return as we can get, saying something's falling there. So wouldn't be surprised that we are seeing some really strong hail outside of Zanesville, even in portions here up just outside of Newark. Wouldn't be surprised that we're not seeing some there as well. That one doesn't have a severe thunderstorm warning, but there for portions of Licking County does not have one at this point. It did earlier, but starting to see some hail returns there. But this one over here definitely piquing my interest. When you get that deep, dark blue and then that black blue and then that white, that's very interesting, to say the least. All right. So, yeah, some people are saying, we got Bike Week in Sandusky. I live in Sandusky County, so I live just to the south, and that's where I'm at right now. So definitely keeping an eye on that storm up over the lake. Wouldn't be surprised. Coming off the lake, we had rotation up there. Wouldn't be surprised if there was maybe some water spouts trying to form on that one. But it's since kind of calmed down as far as the rotation-wise on that one now. So if we look at the velocity, looking at the winds there, it's very embedded right now. So this would be more indicative of a straight-line wind threat. But, yeah, earlier over the lake, it definitely had some rotation over it. Wouldn't be surprised if we got some good photos of that one out over the lake. All right. So with that being said, I don't want to keep it live too long. We just have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for Butler, Montgomery, and Preble County. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust being the primary threat. Hail up to, about 3/4 inch, maybe a little bit more. We're dealing with a radar outage, too, out of Wilmington, so we're not getting a good close-up view of that area. But this one over here, again, a wind threat with this one, and again, we are looking so high in the atmosphere, far away from the radar site, it's hard to tell. I'm looking at some other products off screen that do help us with this. Definitely winds potentially over 60 miles an hour right there for our friends there, mainly in Butler County, but portions of Preble County and Montgomery County getting in on that one as well. There you go. You see they kind of updated this other one here. Man, that one right there. Jeez. This one here just it's like the gift that keeps on giving. I'm going to turn on the hail signature here for you. That says 1 inch, but I wouldn't be surprised that we're seeing 2-inch hail in some of this. This is saying 90%. And again, you got to remember, I'm looking at this out of the Indiana radar site. So it's making its guesstimate based on Indiana. Let me go out of Cleveland here and see what it thinks, or even Charleston, to see if it comes back with the same return. They're still saying right around 1 inch, but man, that latest scan, see that deep dark purple? I would say we're probably up to 2 inches right now on that particular scan, a little weaker coming from that radar site. So not a lot of good radars that we can choose from right now, but and we're looking at very, very far away. But I'll zoom in here. I'll look at it from Cleveland. Wouldn't be surprised that there's 2-inch hail right there. Radar indicated, of course, but that's very indicative of what we see there over the portions there for our friends in Clark County, moving off into Madison County. Definitely 2-inch hail radar indicated, of course. So, man, that's just the gift that keeps on giving with that one. And, yeah, holy moly. You got the 1-inch hail markers across these other ones. And then got the one up here in Sandusky. Again, that's turned into more of a straight-line wind threat. You might be seeing some fast-moving clouds. They were rotating earlier. Not much in the terms of rotation right now. You got some broader rotation here moving along 250. Nothing very tight, but it could be very eerie looking, not to be confused with Erie County, which is where it's at right now. I just made a very bad and dry joke. All right, so tornado possible tag here too for this severe thunderstorm warning. I do want to call that out. That is also on your screen. We do have a tornado possible tag here, and let me go ahead and flip sights around and get some stuff going so we can see it. Still trying to check on our friends here in Wilmington, of course. It's still been down from over about 2 hours now. I'm going to go back to Indiana. I think that's the best shot that I got here with this. It just continues to be interesting. So this one here, on the latest update that they just threw out, went tornado possible tag. And yeah, there it is. Shame on me for not looking at that. There it is, tornado possible tag. So what this means is they're not up to a tornado warning, but they are looking at some rotation here for portions hovering right along Clark County and portions of Madison County. So we're right in this general area. This is Clark County. This is Madison County, hovering right in that particular area. Again, tagged tornado possible. So you could see some pretty decent rotation. You got to remember, too, we are looking at this very high in the atmosphere. We are not getting that close-up look because the Wilmington radar site is down. So that completely sucks for us. And we're seeing rotation that high in the atmosphere from Indianapolis. So definitely something to keep an eye on. We'll have to watch that one here very, very closely as it moves on. We talked a little bit earlier about the tornado threat. The tornado threat is kind of taking a back seat today. Here's the tornado threat from the Storm Prediction Center. Everybody pretty much across Ohio except East Central Ohio in that darker green, that's a 2% tornado risk. Isn't the highest we've ever seen, but could have some isolated tornadoes. But we could see isolated tornadoes in any part of this particular storm anyway, or any part of this in Ohio anyway today, but not going to be the main threat. If it's anything, it's going to be a brief, quick spin up, and then it's going to be done. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Across Ohio, I'm not going to stay live. I'm going to get off here, and I'm going to look at some other products here. Really kind of looking. It takes a little bit more effort since the radar site's down in Wilmington to really kind of deep dive into these storms. So we'll continue to come back live as we need to. Our team is covering this. And we're continuing to look at these storms as they continue to move across Ohio. And again, once that front sags across, which is kind of moving right through the northern portion of Ohio along that line that's firing, once that moves through tonight, overnight tonight, not expecting severe weather. The severe thunderstorm watches end here for portions of Ohio at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, respectively. So that's a good thing. And I'll turn the watch boxes back on pretty much for the eastern portion of Ohio. This ends at 11 o'clock. The western portion of Ohio ends at 10 o'clock. And the storm should be starting to die down by then. But right now, very muggy, tropical. We can say that word because we're in the 70s across portions of Ohio. Tropical, muggy, sticky feel. And that is going to continue, unfortunately, into next weekend. It's going to get very, very hot. And you're going to hate the heat by the end of next week. But summer has finally arrived, it feels like, in Ohio. So we'll take the good with the bad, I guess. So make sure you are prepared for next week as the heat will continue to increase and temperatures well into the 90s next week. All right, so that's what I got right now. We'll continue to come back live as we need to. Be sure to stay tuned with our social media channels. Also, don't forget you can always download the app. Our app's always available there. Download Ohio News and Weather in the App Store. You can get the warnings. You can track the radar. Again, Wilmington's down, so it may look a little weird right now. You may see some gaps in there, but you can get the severe thunderstorm warnings, watches, all that stuff customizable. Download the Ohio News and Weather app in your Play stores, and we'll continue to come back live as we need to here throughout the day. And remember, unfortunately, I'm going to end with this. We had some lightning issues earlier. We are still trying to work on details of confirming that potential fatality in Senecaville, Ohio, which is in Guernsey County. And if that is true, that is very, very sad, and we hate to see that. So remember, when thunder roars, get indoors. Don't stay outside during these storms. We'll continue to come back live as needed.